on a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with the old timer. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window at the darkness, till boredom overtook us and he began to speak. He said, "Son, I've made a life out of reading people's fears and knowing what the powers play by the chains they make them wear. So if you don't mind my saying, I can see you're searching answers. For a taste of your whiskey, I'll give you truth to bear." So I handed him my bottle and he drank down my last swallow. Then he lit a faded cigarette and leaned back with a sigh. And the night grew heavy around us as his eyes pierced through the shadows. Said, "If you're gonna see the game, boy, you gotta learn to question why. You got to know when to doubt 'em, know when to walk away, know when the stories bind you, and know when to break the chain. You never swallow the poison when they're selling fear at the table. There'll be time enough for reckoning when the reckoning's done." Every wanderer knows that the trap of blind believing is falling for the tales they spin to keep you on your knees. 'Cause every faith's a divider and every fear's a cage, and the best that you can hope for is to find your own inner peace. Now he told of a dusty village where a holy man came riding, promising paradise to believers, but torment for the rest. He split neighbors into rivals with threats of eternal fire. Folks betrayed their lifelong friends in a panic-stricken mire. The preacher wove his web of terror, kept kneeling day and night, but harmony was fractured in the guise of heavenly light. You got to know when to doubt 'em, know when to walk away, know when the stories bind you, and know when to break the chain. You never swallow the poison when they're selling fear at the table. There'll be time enough for reckoning when the reckoning's done. He said religion's like a hustler with a rigged game up his sleeve, using dread to herd the faithful, making them plead and grieve. It carves the world into factions, saints and sinners, us and them, but underneath it's about domination, leaving hearts torn and grim. Instead of uniting humankind in a shared and loving bond, it sows seeds of separation, keeping peace forever gone. Then he shifted to the city halls where the leaders spin their webs, politicians grinning for the masses, vowing justice in their threads. But behind the vows and rallies, they're pocketing the gains, deceiving voters with clever ploys while tied in the reins. He spoke of a community that trusted officials who pledged to serve, but funds vanished into shadows, leaving dreams on the curb. The people rallied in hopeful crowds, chanting for equity's call, but the schemers swapped the deck at dusk and watched the hopeful fall. You got to know when to doubt 'em, know when to walk away, know when the promises blind you, and know when to break the chain. that the system skewed from the top. Politicians dupe the crowds with a cunning, endless plot. They split us into camps and colors, left and right, rich and poor, keeping us battling one another while they lock the power door. Instead of serving all the people for a common greater good, they chase their selfish ambitions, leaving societies in the mud. But son, there's a greater vision beyond the dread and the deceit. Shed the shackles of submission, find the strength beneath your feet. Religion's dread can't chain you if you challenge what they teach. Politicians' schemes will falter when you see beyond their reach. Unite in common humanity beyond the tags and the fights. Celebrate our shared existence under freedom's guiding lights. You got to know when to doubt 'em, know when to walk away, know when the systems divide you, and know when to break the chain. You never feed the divisions when they're playing tricks at the table. There'll be time enough for reckoning when the reckoning's done. Any warned of crafty players in cloaks or polished suits who feast on our divisions, harvesting the poison fruits. A hamlet ripped by sacred feuds, kinfolk split by creed, or land deceived by glossy words, bleeding from its greed. But when people begin to rouse, see the ploy for what it is, the barriers come crashing downward and we claim our inner bliss. As the train rolled into dawning, his words lingered in my mind. The old timer faded like the night, leaving inside behind.